Hey folks, in this video I will tell you everything about the single wheel bicycle trailers from Bob, which have been taken around the world and can be a great addition to your bike, whether it is for smaller bikepacking trips or big cycle tours. I was so lucky to get an older version of the 26-inch Bob Yak trailer second hand for only €100, including a huge Ortlieb bag. And because I had planned a bikepacking tour through the Black Forest with my girlfriend, that was the optimal opportunity to try it out. In this video I want to share my experience, tell you about why you might want a trailer, the different models available and its accessories, and tell you about the disadvantages. As in all of my videos, I made chapters so you can skip to the parts that interest you most. This video isn't sponsored in any way, and these are my honest opinions, so let's get started. A trailer is great if you need to add storage space, for example on a very big tour, but is also great to use on its own. It is also a solution for all those bikes which don't have mounting options for bicycle racks, as Bob offers their axle system in all axle types, meaning through axle, quick release or solid axle. That will enable you to go bikepacking with any bike, except fat bikes because their tires are too wide. Its simple installation system allows you to install it in seconds, and if you don't need it, you can just leave it aside. Also, if you have their axle system on other bikes, you can switch from one to the other as you wish. I have seen Bob trailers with a self-made inlay to carry a dog, and you can also use it to go shopping. And yes, it does fit a box of beer. Bob offers two models of their single-wheel touring trailers, the Ibex and the Yak, and each are available in either 26 or 28 to 29-inch versions. My Yak is a 26-inch version, but I'm using it on a 28-inch bike, which isn't great because there's only little room between it and the tire, making it impossible to use a normal-sized mudguard, and using it on a bike with 29-inch tires wouldn't be possible, so be sure to buy the right one for your bike. The Ibex model costs €800, weighs 7.7 kilograms, comes in the color gold, and has a 2.125-inch wide tire. It has a coil spring suspension which ensures a smoother ride, and it can handle rougher terrain better. There are 3 positions you can set the coil spring to, depending on the weight of the load, which is quickly adjusted to ensure the right dampening. So the Ibex model is more for single trail and off-road use. The Yak model, on the other hand, does not have a rear suspension and is therefore more suitable for cycling on roads. It costs €600, weighs 6.1 kilograms, comes in the color black, and with a 1.75-inch wide tire. Think about whether the benefit of the rear suspension is worth the extra €200 and the additional 1.6 kilograms. Also note that the prices include the mudguard, a bungee cord, and the flag. A quick release axle comes as standard, but that might not be the suitable axle type for your bike, in which case you would need to purchase yours separately. Both frames are made from 3130 chromo steel. They both can carry up to 32 kilograms. The wheel uses a quick release and the frame has adjustable dropouts, and for protecting the frame from getting scratched, they have plastic skids on both sides. I have found the Yak to handle very well also on loose road surfaces and gravel, and when adding an even bigger tire and lowering the air pressure, that improves its off-road capabilities. I recently changed to the Schwalbe pickup with a width of 2.15 inch, and whilst I now can't mount the mudguard anymore, it does dampen better. I would recommend the Ibex for those that really want to take it off-road and on rough paths, but for all the rest I think the Yak is just fine. In fact, the Yak is not just cheaper and lighter, but also shorter, while still having the same storage area as the Ibex, because it doesn't have a rear suspension. Just for your information, my local bike trailer shop told me that they sell the Ibex model much more often. That may be because of the Black Forest here, or because it actually is better. I recommend you try both out if you have the chance, and then decide which one suits your needs and purposes best. I want to thank my local bike trailer shop Binninger in Freiburg for helping me with this video by answering many questions and letting me film the new current models. If you are looking for any sort of trailer, whether for children or cargo, be sure to check them out. They have lots of experience and will gladly help. The quick release and the through axle are special and have to be replaced on your bike, whilst for a solid axle you only need to buy adapters. When you buy the trailer with the supplied quick release, note that there are adapters called bobbins mounted to it, which in the eventuality that you need to buy another axle will also fit. The through axle will cost you an additional €135 and the suitable adapters for solid axle €50. I have made a separate video in which I explain firstly how to find the right axle system and secondly how to attach attach it to your bike, so be sure to check that out if you have any questions. The trailers have a clever attachment mechanism to the bobbins on your axle, which ensures that they don't fall off even on rough rides. When attaching the trailer, be sure it's empty and it's lined up straight with your bike. Then hook the dropouts onto the bobbins, and in order to prevent the trailer from hopping off while cycling, you have to stick the splints through the holes of the dropouts on both sides. To prevent these from falling out, turn them until they clip onto the bolt. That way the trailer stays on your bike no matter what. To take the trailer off again, just repeat the steps in reverse order. This easy and quick method makes it easy to just pack your things, throw them into the trailer, attach it to your bike and head off. Why this trailer feels so smooth to pull is due to its abilities to move vertically and horizontally. The trailer can move vertically on the rear axle because the bobbins, which attach the fork of the trailer to your bicycle's axle, have a little bit of play, which in turn enables them to rotate. This is helpful when the bike goes up and down on uneven ground. The horizontal movement is possible because of the axle connecting the fork to the trailer itself. This makes cornering a lot smoother. The single wheel makes the trailer more aerodynamic, and whilst that may not make you faster because you have more weight to pull, it will make it easier to ride even on small paths and tight turns. At first, it's an unusual feeling cycling with a trailer because you'll have to judge situations differently, but you will get used to it quickly. As mentioned before, the trailer comes with a mudguard so the wheel doesn't splash water all over you, a pennant flag for making you and your bike more visible, and a bungee cord which can be attached to the hooks of the trailer with which you can secure loose items. You can remove the mudguard in case you want to install a bigger tire, and remove the flag and the wheel in case you want to store it. In the eventuality you want to ship it or have to make it as small as possible, you can additionally disassemble the trailer's fork and reassemble it facing inwards. There are even eyelets to which you can attach water bottle cages. You could buy a 90-liter dry bag for 150 euros, which fits perfectly into the trailer and keeps all your things dry. The brand Campfire Cycling offers a liner which fits in the trailer perfectly, which can also be used to carry your pet. Be aware that Bob does not recommend doing so. I put a link in the description. With all these parts you need and accessories you might want, you will have to pay quite a lot compared to pannier bags. My tip: look for used ones like I did. They last long and can be in great condition even after many years. The trailers don't come with a stand, but there are a few ways you can prevent your bike from falling over. The first solution, where you don't need a stand, is by putting your bike with the trailer in so-called park mode. For that, put your bike at a 90-degree angle to the trailer will then fall on its side and touch the ground, and if you then turn your handlebars in the direction of the whole kit and caboodle, it will stand stably. This is even possible when the trailer is not loaded. Only in case that your bike is heavily packed, I would not recommend this option because it will put a lot of stress on the trailer's fork, possibly damaging it. It is worth noting that Bob has a disclaimer that some rear derailleurs could become damaged or the hanger bent by doing so please check carefully if it's possible with your bike. The second solution is to just lean the part of your trailer where the skids are against a sidewalk, a stone or something similar, whilst keeping it in a line with your bike. Whilst this does work, it isn't very stable, especially for when your bike is packed. If you carry a lot, the best solution is using a kickstand. You can either mount a kickstand to the fork of the trailer or to your bike. The best type of stand for the trailer is one which you can attach to the chain and seat stays of a bike and adjust it to the two struts of the fork of the trailer. When using a stand on your bike like I did, it might interfere with the trailer when going over rough terrain. Because I don't know how compatible other stands are, be sure to carefully try it out first. With mine, there was no problem. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean a lot to me if you'd give it a thumbs up, and if you don't want to miss any further videos, you're most welcome to subscribe. In case you want to use a bob trailer with a rear rack on your bike, it will not always fit, and if it does, it might be a very tight fit. That is because when the trailer is installed, your mounts for a rack might be blocked. I could not install my Ortlieb quick rack because the adapters would have been in the way, and so I ended up mounting a rack from Rack Time. It was still a close call because the screw on the left side touched the trailer's fork, which wasn't optimal since the trailer moves up and down, rubbing on the screw. Another problem is the shift cable. Mine got pretty damaged on the tour because it was constantly pinched between the trailer and the rack. That leads to problems whilst shifting, and you might want to try putting your shift cable, for example, behind the rack so it doesn't get in the way. Be aware that because the trailer is able to move up and down, you won't be able to mount big pannier bags to your rack because they would get in the way. What could also happen is that your bags undo the splint of the safety mechanism by pushing them down off the hooks, which can lead to the trailer disengaging and thus serious accidents. I only mounted my Ortlieb gravel pack with each bag only being 12 liters. Overall, it seems to me that the trailer is not designed to be used with a rear rack and big panniers, and the idea is actually to either use a trailer or panniers. Overall, the Bob bike trailers are very versatile. I find the system very easy to use and I have told you about its benefits. But now to the disadvantages. Firstly, when you are not using the trailer but still have the bobbins on your axle or have it attached without any luggage, the bobbins rattle, which I find very annoying. That is because it sounds as if something isn't tightened well on your bike, which made me feel very unsafe until I found out what was making the noise. You could unscrew the bobbins every time you use your bike without the trailer, but that is a lot of work if you use it on and off. It helps a bit to apply some grease, but that won't last very long, especially in warm weather, and only makes everything sticky. For me, the trailer might be great for tours, but I will not leave the through axle on my bike and only mount it when I need it. Secondly, the 16-inch wheel is rather small, making it more difficult when cycling on rough roads because it can't roll over sticks and stones as easily. Generally, smaller wheels will slow you down, and having a third wheel itself can be a disadvantage of its own because it's one more tire that can get a puncture. The third disadvantage is that it might interfere with your shifting. I have the problem on all of my bikes that when I use the trailer the shifting isn't that exact, and when I adjust it for when the trailer is attached, it is not set up correctly for when it's not. The reason why it might interfere with the shifting is because of the weight pulling on your bike, but I am not quite sure. The fourth disadvantage, in my opinion, is the overall length. Of course, you'll get used to it, but compared to just having a bike with panniers, it is more difficult to cycle with, especially when going through traffic. The fifth disadvantage is the extra weight. Either when you have to carry your stuff over an obstacle like a fence or up some stairs, you will always notice its weight, and also when cycling up steep hills. When going downhill, you will also need more braking power, which will run down your brakes faster. On the other hand, you could argue that you like the feeling of having less luggage on your bike itself because it moves more freely, and I could understand that very well. My experience when cycling up hills was that it is more difficult, but not by much. But that is probably different depending on what you put in it. The more exhausting thing is getting it moving, so you don't want to stop and go all the time. When its mass is accelerated once, it rolls great, and sometimes it even pushed me a bit. The sixth disadvantage is that you can't replace the plastic skids, which will eventually wear down, and then the chance of the frame getting damaged by rubbing against stones or other things increases, even though it would have lasted for longer if one could replace them. The seventh and last disadvantage, in my opinion, is that you can't access your things inside the trailer as easily. You can put those things you need regularly in a pannier or frame bag, and then it wouldn't be much of a problem, but when you are only using the trailer, it can be a bit annoying always having to stop and rummage. You might think differently about some of the things I dislike, so I want you to make up your own mind. Now, knowing the advantages and disadvantages of the Bob trailers, is it worth paying hundreds of euros to set your luggage a bit further back on a trailer? As always, you have to decide for yourself whether a trailer suits your type of cycling. I hope I gave you lots of helpful information to base your decision on, and I hope to make more videos about other trailers so you can decide which one is best for you. I put a link to the detailed and very informative instructions from Bob's website in the description in case you are still missing any information. I myself like using the trailer for carrying things to the rubbish depot, going shopping, or taking things to a lake in summer, but I'm not quite sure if I want to take it on future bike tours. We will see. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, and if you are interested in bicycle gear and bikes in general, consider subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching, enjoy your day with a nice ride, and see you soon. Bye!